let's talk about how to make $1,000 per hour in your business. Let's talk about it, right? So I started working with a virtual assistant recently. Basically, I wanted to bring in somebody to handle a bunch of like media production tasks and publishing tasks and things like that. And frankly, I was blown away. She started a couple of weeks ago. I was blown away by how many tasks I do and don't do. Like what I put off and procrastinate that with focused attention can be done like that. Like I hand things off and they're back on my plate like, hey, this is done. Anything else you need? As soon as like I get back to it, like it's so fast. And what's awesome about this is that these tasks are things that are great for her to do. So I recruited somebody specifically saying, here's what I'm looking for. And she raised her hand and said, hey, I'm interested in this. I can do great at this. And she's happy to knock them out. Like they're exactly what she signed up to do. Right. But when I'm doing them, they actually are taking away from my highest value activities, which I identified, like put a lot of thinking and journaling and so on into this process. And I've identified really, I am creating the most value in my business when I'm doing marketing for myself or for clients, as well as creating content. And if I'm not creating content or doing marketing for myself or my clients, then I'm doing something that is not the highest value activity in my business. And honestly, like I've known this for a long time. I've talked about this book a bunch of times before, 80/20 Sales and Marketing by Perry Marshall. So this is based on the 80/20 principle, and actually Richard Koch, the author of the 80/20 principle book that became so popular, wrote the foreword to Perry's book. And what's emphasized from like a time management perspective here and from an entrepreneurial perspective here is that 80/20 applies to the work that you're doing. It applies to so many things. It's a natural law, and it's basically the law or the observation of the vital few and trivial many. So inside your business, you may spend 1 hour per month doing a $1,000 per hour task, or you may spend an hour per week doing a $1,000 per hour task, and so many other of the hours that you spend per month are like $5 an hour tasks, $10 an hour tasks, $100 an hour tasks that are taking away from being able to spend more time in your $1,000 per hour tasks. And honestly, like most activities that we do as entrepreneurs, especially in smaller businesses, like for me, I run a solopreneur business. It's me. Now I'm bringing in lots of different people to help with lots of different things. But as a smaller business where it's like me doing the work and me in charge, most of the activities that I've done traditionally are not my highest value activities. And I've accumulated just in my to-do list so many lower value activities that take away my time from being able to focus on that high value creative time, which again, for me is creating content or doing marketing for myself or for my clients. And so back to the core promise of this make $1,000 per hour, the core promise of this video, I can't tell you exactly what in your business, in your career, is your $1,000 per hour activity. I can't tell you what your highest value activities are. And frankly, you may have activities that are $10,000 or $100,000 per hour, depending on the type of business that you do, the type of work that you do. But what I can tell you is that they're there. You have a vital few tasks that you do that create the maximum value for yourself, for your clients, for your marketplace, whatever that value creation is. And you have to identify those things and find out how you can spend as much time as possible focused on those and as little time as possible doing everything else. So you have to figure out ways to hand off the rest of those tasks, those $10 an hour tasks, $100 an hour tasks. If you want to be doing $10,000 an hour work, you even have to hand off the $1,000 an hour and $5,000 an hour tasks. You have to figure out what your highest value activities are and hand off everything else. And the key to this is repeatable systems. Building repeatable systems to do all the other things. Now, creating the systems might be a $1,000 an hour task, or at least getting those systems out of your head and having someone else help you create those. And really like everything but your 100% unique talents, what Dan Sullivan calls your unique abilities, can be made repeatable by others. So like I can't necessarily sit down and outsource my like ability to look at copy and do a copy review and to tell somebody exactly what to do to transform that copy. But I can outsource like all the getting it set up and so on, so forth, all of those things. I can have somebody else help me with. But then when I show up and I review the copy, that's something that I have to focus on, right? That's my 100% unique talent. Now, frankly, I could probably recruit a bunch of other skilled copywriters and have them learn from me and review other people's copy on my like through my business, maybe at a lower hourly rate. And because I'm bringing the clients in, I get a portion, they get a portion, it's all good, right? But what we're saying is everything besides your 100% unique talents can be made repeatable by others. You can pass your systems off to others. Now, a warning here, and I heard this quote, and I heard it attributed to Reed Hastings, who founded Netflix, but I wasn't able to find it tied to his name, so I may be remembering wrong. A main thing to remember is like you don't necessarily want to build idiot-proof systems where you're hiring the lowest common denominator, maybe unless you're running a fast food restaurant. But even then, maybe not. If you make everything idiot-proof, this is the quote, if you make everything idiot-proof, what you're saying is you want a bunch of idiots working for you. And that's not what I want. And I think that I don't think that that's what you want. I don't think that's what most entrepreneurs want. Most entrepreneurs want to be surrounded by a great team full of great people who are able to achieve more together. And you don't necessarily want to just rely on everybody's creative effort. What you want is systems and processes that talented people can use to consistently do great work. Systems and processes that talented people can use to consistently do great work. And when you create your systems in a way where you're giving people the milestones that they have to pass to complete the system, but they still have like the freedom of their creativity inside that system, that it's not like regimented. Every single thing has to be done this way, exactly this way, and like, down to the letter. Like that can be frustrating for great talent to work with it. But if you say, here's what we know works, here are the steps that we know to follow to make this work, and if you follow these steps using your own talents and abilities, then you're going to be able to create great success. And so focus on creating those systems, and focus first on systems for what you do now, and then on systems to scale and grow beyond what you are doing now. So make everything that you're doing as repeatable as possible, as delineated as possible into at least a simple series of like overview steps. Like this is what we do to create success here. And if we follow this overview step, the series of overview steps, we're going to create success again, because that's how systems work. And then as you are building, scaling, growing beyond just, okay, this is my talent showing up and doing the work, then those systems can become useful for other people to the point where other people can take over large elements of your job. Now, part of my reason for saying this, besides this just being a great lesson, and a lesson that I've gotten a reminder in recently by hiring a VA who's wildly capable of doing so many of the tasks that I've been doing in my business that have actually been slowing me down because I've been spending time in them. Besides that, I'm also doing a webinar on Thursday where the author of the book Systemology, which is honestly like the best book on entrepreneurial business systems that I've read. And it's so good that Michael Gerber, author of The E-Myth, actually wrote the foreword for it, and he basically said the same thing, that this is how you work on your business. Like Michael Gerber came up with working on your business instead of working in your business. He said that Systemology is a how-to manual. And on Thursday, I'm doing a webinar with the author, David Jennings, and I've titled the webinar Systemology for Solopreneurs and Virtual Businesses. And David's going to come on and he's going to talk about his book, but specifically, I'm going to ask questions that I believe are most relevant for my audience, for you, that will help you apply the principles in the book. Like, you can go and you can read the book and you can learn the fundamentals, and I strongly suggest that you do. But how do you apply it in the context of a business that's maybe a lot like mine? Maybe you're a freelance copywriter or other solopreneur, or maybe you're building more of a virtual business, a small business where you're currently the central, you're the hub and the wheel that everything revolves around. How do you go from where you are now and build your business from that into something that is potentially much bigger and more impactful? And so that webinar is going to be on Thursday. It's March 18th at 4 p.m. U.S. Central Time. And unlike some of my other webinars, this one is actually going to be free for all Breakthrough Marketing Secrets subscribers. So you just have to sign up. And I'm going to include a link with this video to the webinar registration, a link to the Systemology book on Amazon, which I strongly suggest that you pick up. And also, since I mentioned it in this video, I'll include a link to Perry's 80/20 Sales and Marketing, where he talks about this principle of finding those $1,000 per hour tasks in your business. What do you think? Leave a comment with this video. Let me know on a scale 1 to 10 how valuable you found it and why. What are your big takeaways and action items? Also, tap that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you, and so the magical algorithms of the internet know to share it with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly, and subscribe before you go. Subscribe here. Also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com. Get my daily emails Monday through Friday, including these videos and more exclusive content for email subscribers, things like this webinar and other valuable content coming up. I always aim for that 10 out of 10 value. I hope that I've delivered it here. Check out the links in the description for even more value, and I look forward to seeing you again in your next video episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. See you soon. Bye.